Welcome to my video about the irregular simple past. Irregular simple past. Now, you understand that when I say past, I'm talking about the action that was yesterday. The key word here that we're looking for is yesterday. Just like when you talk about the present tense, you say now. When you talk about the future tense, you say tomorrow. Well, guess what? When you talk about the past, you're going to say yesterday. Now the question is, how do we say yesterday in Spanish? It's going to be, repeat after me now, slowly. Ayer. A-Y-E-R. That little word here sets everything up for you. It puts you into the past. This is where we're at. Now, here what we have is 3 irregular verbs that we're going to conjugate. We're going to look at them in the past and see what happens to them. Alright, andar is an AL verb. Andar means to walk. So repeat after me. Andar. Good. That's to walk. One more time. Andar. Very good. Now let's go for the second one. That's another AL verb. Repeat after me. Estar. Estar. Alright. Now the third one that you have here is going to be tener. Repeat after me now. Tener. Very good. That's the ER verb. If you can see on the board here carefully, I have written down the ending of the infinitive, right, the basic form of the verb, in red. Why? So that you can see it. I want it to shine. Okay, what happens here? It's very simple. What you're used to is the regular way of dealing with the simple past, which is you take your infinitive, like andar, you drop the last 2 letters of the infinitive, right? And then you conjugate the verb with the appropriate endings that match the verb group, whether it's an AL verb, EL verb, or IL verb. Well, guess what? I got some bad news for you, because here you're dealing with what we call irregular verb. Look at andar, estar, and tener like wolves. When you deal with regular verbs, you deal with sheep. They all follow the same pattern. If one goes one way, they all go the same way. They're like sheep. AL verbs, EL verb, and IL verbs, that's all they do. They follow one another. Once you have a regular AL verb, it's going to take the same endings. All of them will. Until you end up dealing with an irregular verb. And then this is where you make a difference. You need to be aware of the wolf. You need to remember what it looks like so that you can actually utilize it, use it properly. So here's what happens. Andar, estar, and tener have one thing in common. They have a change within the stem where you're going to see a UV showing up. UV. Look carefully. Andar, you're going to have a UV being added to the stem. You get rid of the AR, okay? Watch. I'm going to get rid of the AR right here. And you're going to see what happens. You got your stem, A and D. And then you're going to add the endings that match the simple past for that verb. And you're going to see that the endings are going to be the same with andar, estar, and tener. So let's go for andar first. Repeat after me. You know that andar means to walk. Okay, you remember that. So let's conjugate andar in the past, the simple past. Let's go. Slowly. Yo anduve. Tu anduviste. Ella anduvo. Nosotros anduvimos, vosotros anduvisteis, ellos, ellas anduvieron. I was rather quick here. I did that on purpose so that you can hear what happens with estar and tener. Then I'm going to go back to them slowly. This is what happens with estar. You're going to have the UV showing up as well. And that's going to be, repeat after me now. Yo estuve. Tu estuviste. Ella estuvo, nosotros estuvimos, vosotros estuvisteis, ellos, ellas estuvieron. Now watch what happens here. Okay, both of them are going to take the same endings. I'm not kidding you. You can group them together. Look, it's not, it's not difficult to actually remember them. Okay, estuve, you got the UVE. Anduve, you have the UVE. Estuviste, very good, UVISTE. Same thing with anduviste, okay? Do you see what happens here? You got your stem and then you add the endings and they're the same. So yes, they are irregular, but you can group them together in what I call a subfamily. Okay? Alright, let's look at the third singular. On nouveau, he or she walked, I'm sorry. We are in the past here. He or she walked. That's definitely going to be, okay, the same deal. UVO. Likewise here with estuvo. So, anduvo, estuvo. Now keep it up. Look at the nosotros form. You're going to have anduvimos. Same deal. Okay, right here. I make the separation clear enough so that you can see it. We walked, nosotros anduvimos. The UVIMOS repeats itself with estar. Watch what happens here. Okay? Nosotros estuvimos. This is a trick that's going to help you out remembering them. Now you go for the vosotros form. Alright? You break it down in the middle here. Make a separation. And what happens here is the same thing. Vosotros form, alright, whether you have, of course, I would say estar or I would say andar, you're going to have the same situation happening here, where of course what's going to happen is the same spelling shows up with the ending. UVISTEIS. Estuvisteis, anduvisteis. And then, ellos form, right? When you get into the third person plural, you get the same situation here. Okay? You get the UVIERON. Same way with both verbs. So what are we learning here? We're learning that we have irregular verbs that follow, I would say, the same pattern, which makes it easier to remember. Look at the verb tener. Alright, tener is going to take the exact same endings. However, tener is funny because, you know, you cannot just get rid of the ER and keep the stem with TEN. You cannot do that, it's not going to work. What you got to do here, the uve, uviste, uvo, uvimos, uvistes, uvieron that you had with andar and estar, you're going to use them right here again, but right after the T. Watch this. You get tuve, alright, right here, tuve, tuviste, alright, let me make it clear so that you can see it very well. Alright, tuvo, tuvimos, tuvisteis, tuvieron, okay? Tener means to have. So let's conjugate tener together, come on. Yo tuve, tú tuviste, ella tuvo, nosotros tuvimos, vosotros tuvisteis, ellos, ellas tuvieron. Alright, you look at those three verbs here, I like to see them as the same team. You can group them together, and what I want you to do when you get back home, I want you to definitely sit down and look carefully, take a nap, take it easy, get your mind rested, and look carefully at the resemblances that you have between those three verbs. Right? They're very much alike, okay? They're very, very much alike. So yes, they are tough to remember, but if you are a little bit, I would say, careful, you will see for yourself that you have a pattern that repeats itself. Because this is how I learned it. Okay, so I'm just trying to tell you the best way, the easiest way to remember them, okay? Alright? So, do you have any question? Andar to walk, estar to be, tener to have. Now, I'm going to talk to you about a few more irregular verbs in the next video segment, okay? Alright, thank you for your attention.